From Williamsville to Orchard Park, covering all of Western New York, this is News 4, your local news leader.
Parishioners at about a dozen local Catholic parishes are a bit relieved today after learning their appeal has been accepted, and it's possible these churches will not close after all.
Right now, we are joined by Mary Pruski with Save Our Buffalo Churches, who shared the news from the Vatican last night. Mary, it is a pleasure to have you here. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for inviting us in.
So for anyone out there who doesn't know the news, catch them up to speed. What are you hearing from the Vatican?
Save Our Buffalo Churches is a 5-member volunteer organization. We're working with a canon law firm out of Ohio called St. Joseph Canon Law. They've provided the format, the pathway to appeal using canon law to keep our churches open. It's David against Goliath, but we've been there for it, and we have about 30 churches with us, and about half who have reached the dicastery level, which is the mid-level of the appeal, were heard in Rome, and Rome said, yes, stop. So they put us on a plateau to wait, and they are going to study and investigate all our allegations further. The diocese will have their time also so that they hear both sides of the story. But we are very heartened that they felt the need to hear our side of the story, and we feel that we're very transparent, very fact-based, and we'll see that there is no credible reason to close a lot of these churches.
And remind people of what your side of the story is. Of course, the diocese has been saying that these parishes, they need to merge or close because of financial issues. They're not bringing in the type of revenue to keep them operating. What are you saying in response?
What we're saying in response is that some of their data was not accurate when they first started evaluating the parishes. That was corrected in an earlier session, and even though they said, okay, we see your data, but we don't agree, you still need to close. So we pushed back to say, well, what other reasons are there? And they said lack of priests and the bankruptcy and having to make whole the poor folks who were abused by the earlier priests. And according to canon law, which are the policies and procedures of the church, that's not enough of a reason to close parishes, because those are temporary things. Things can be put into place to change those rationales. Often these parishes that were told to close, that was the only reason they said to close them, and they are indeed in the black, supporting their community, have outreach into helping the poor with food pantries, education, things like that. These are parishes that their buildings are in good shape. Why do we need to close them? And then when you step back and look at them, they have prime property in many areas of Western New York, so easily will gain a good penny if they're sold. And for those of us who live in those types of parishes, that was the only reason, which made us very angry and very broken. And we said, we're David, but we'll go up against Goliath, and we helped start this movement.
Can you run through some of the parishes that are part of the Vatican's announcement? And then also, for those that weren't included in this list, is it expected that similar letters could come in the future?
We are sure hoping that letters in the future will be the same. Right now, we're 100%. Everyone who has reached the dicastery level and waited for a response, because it takes 90 days for them to process it, all of them have received a stay of execution or a pass, and they will use this time for further study, which could take up to another year, maybe more. So we're going to walk this path with them.
And just to let people know as well, within the last couple of hours or so, we did receive a statement from the Buffalo Catholic Diocese, and we're going to hear from them later on today as well on this. But on the statement on recourse, they do say, and I'm going to be real brief here, they say that, yes, they've received the results. It's going to be under review, and they have to provide more information to the Vatican on where they stand. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the churches that have been under review could not merge or close during this process. So we'll have to see how everything plays out. I know you have a different opinion on everything. But that's at least what they're saying, and I want to be fact-based here.
That's in our version of how things will progress, is that the Vatican said this is a stay. This is a hold on those mergers. So we will continue to watch with the diocese. We want to work with the diocese to say there probably is a better way we can approach their difficulties with bankruptcy and the difficulties with priests. But you don't do it by closing the churches, which means who's going to go there to give money, and people will be scattered throughout the region. It hurts the community rather than helps the community to close them. We need to find a different solution, and we're here to talk about that.
All right.
Well, unfortunately, our time is short. Mary, thank you so much for coming in and sharing this update with us.
Thank you
All right.
so much.
Thank you, Mary.
Okay.
Yep. All right.